Hello, welcome back. So, a question that I get pretty regularly is, do I have any decks that aren't old and vintage and out of print, and, like, which ones do I have? So, I thought today would be fun to organize all of my indie decks. Decks that are more regularly available. Some of them are out of print. Yeah, most of them I think you can probably still get. So I guess I'll start with the oracles and stuff. So all of my indie Kickstarter decks are the decks that I really use day to day, really, more than all of my, like, see if I can just angle the camera down. All of my out of print, hard to find are like in this spot, and then at the top are all of my yellow box, all my RWS, like, clones, all, you know, that kind of stuff. So this middle section is usually where I pull the decks that I'm gonna, you know, use day to day or weekly. I do use all of my other decks, but not daily. These are the ones I work with the most. So I guess I'll start with the oracles. Honestly, I like kind of had a little oracle phase, but truly I don't use oracles very much. So I have the Buddha Wisdom. I guess I can show a couple of cards from some of the decks that I don't necessarily see a lot. Those are the backs. They are kind of shiny, but I mean, they're cool. They're really pretty. And I do like it, I just really don't use oracles. Angels of Light. This is not really like what you would imagine. Well, there's the back of the box and some card examples. They're just kind of like abstract paintings that it looks like they've like turned into little kind of angels. The Wild Unknown archetypes. Everyone has seen this a million times. It's got a little, you know, round box, the whole bit. I don't care for the Wild Unknown. I don't care for any of Kim Kranz's other decks and things. They're just not, really are not for me. But that I really like a lot. This is probably the only oracle that I use actually really regularly. And I keep it in this fancy little box that Dustin made me. His channel, oh, it just changed names. It was Modern Metaphysic Man. Now it's Modern Metaphysic. I don't know. I'll link it. I'll link it. That way, you know, y'all can find him, because he does make beautiful boxes. And then I have the Mother Mary Oracle, which is really fun. The images are really similar to that Angels of Light, like the coloration and like how you can see the brush strokes. Rebecca Campbell, this is her Work Your Light Oracle. I'm not going to bother showing this because it's pretty widely known and available. I don't have her, she just came out with another one, another Oracle. I don't have that. So I have the Weaver's Oracle. This took me a while to get. It comes with a really nice book. Like, really nice. The deck itself is pretty expensive. And then shipping from the UK is insane. These are the backs of the cards. They're huge. Really big cards. But it's fun to work with them. They're really pretty, really evocative. I find they really kind of make you feel. So that's the Weaver's Oracle. This one is a Kickstarter. It's called the Dream Oracle. I got it because it reminded me of Güell Park in Barcelona. There are these like benches with all of these mosaic tiles and stuff all over them, and this really reminded me of that. So I got it. Honestly, I've not really used it much, but it's a cool deck. And then I have Marcella Kroll's Sacred Symbols. This one is a really well-produced deck. These are the backs. The cardstock is really nice. The lamination is really nice. It shuffles really, really easily. The colors in it are really, really pretty. They're all like kind of earthy and the keywords are really nice. So that's a cool one. And I guess as long as we're talking about Marcella Kroll, maybe I'll do an entire video on her book, but she just, let me see if I can reach it. She just put out this book, and it has like, it has so much cool stuff in it. Just like little spells, little like tarot spreads. It's got like all kinds of pagan-y information, how to cleanse your crystals, like what different colors mean, how to make black salt, just like tons of really cool stuff. So, a little side note, but that's fun. And then I would say these are probably the ones that I use the most. These are by Holly Simple. This is the first edition. They're the same deck, but the first edition had these like really awesome holographic backs. The images are even exactly the same in this one. But just like really cool little deck. And then this is the second one. Same exact backs, just totally different designs and no holographic stuff. And then the images have been colored differently. So those are both really cool. And actually, as long as I'm talking about her, her tarot deck is actually the tarot deck that I keep in my car, and I use probably every day. Just to like draw one little card. I like it because it's like a really convenient little, it's just a convenient size. The cardstock is amazing for shuffling. Like I've used it for probably 2 years. Yeah, probably. And you can't even tell, the deck looks brand new. So I guess now I'll go into like mass market-y kind of tarot decks. This I got really thinking that I was ordering the Cat Black deck. This is not the Cat Black deck. And I can't stand it, honestly. I started, oh I guess I finished it. I edged it in gold. It just, the cardstock is terrible. I don't like the pictures. Like, it's not great. The Illuminated Tarot by Caitlin Keegan. Really cool art, really cool box. But honestly, I'll never use it just because it's not 78 cards. Like, the majors and the minors are shared on some cards, and it makes it weird to read with for me, so I just don't. I thought I ordered a vintage white one. This is what I got. I don't really read with it, so I guess it doesn't matter. Oh, another Oracle that I forgot about. This one is an indie one. I got it on Etsy. These are the backs. And they're just all these really cool little, like, doodles of women. Like, very weird. But, like, all affirmations. Really not anything, like, not a single negative thing at all, I don't think. Oh. I swear. I think everyone has the Illuminated Earth Oracle. If you don't, you should. And I guess I lied, really, when I said that the other one was the one that I used the most. I used this, like, every day, I feel like, after I got it, for a while. I need to pull it back out. But the pictures are amazing. And I think she's working on another Oracle. Anyway, that's the Illuminated Earth Oracle by, who did this? Claire Mack. Okay, I think that's all for Oracles. Okay, I'll just get this out of the way. I have the Mystic Mondays, literally, I never use it. It's not the indie one. It's like, it's too hard and thick to shuffle. It's like cumbersome to use. The holographics are nice. The original edition, this design was holographic, so I kind of wish I had that, but I don't, it's just not really my favorite deck, honestly. Okay, I have the Luminous Void. This is the standard and the shuffle. This deck I absolutely love. I use this a lot. I use the shuffle more just because it's easier to deal with. One of the few pip decks I have is La Corte de Taroki. I have number 651 of 2000. These are the backs. This is a cool deck. I love it because it's like super papery, but it's just so skinny and long and just, it's just fun. Jeez, it's like going out of my... Oh yeah, the Mysteries of Mary tarot deck. This I got because the artist clearly took so much time. She like made all of these little altars. And it's cool. The deck, I mean the book that comes with it goes into great detail about how it's not based off of like Christian Mary, but more like Mary the archetype. It's very interesting. This little deck is one of my only, I have 2 majors only decks. I backed it on Kickstarter. I really liked the art. And I didn't realize that the deck is like made for or inspired by Dungeons and Dragons, and I've never been into that, or I don't even really know anything about it, except that it's like a tabletop kind of game. So that was fun, but I mean, the art is beautiful, and if you didn't know it was about that, you wouldn't really know. The Cirque de Whimsy, this is out of print, unfortunately, but I put it in with my indie decks because I can't tell, like it wasn't mass produced. This is one of my favorite decks ever. Nosotros, I believe. And it's a Portuguese artist. Wait, is it Portuguese or Brazil? I think she's from Brazil, but they speak Portuguese in Brazil. So it came out in 3 parts. Now I think you can get the whole deck, but it came out first majors, cups and swords, and then wands and pinnacles. So that's a really cool deck. Really like feminist and like body positive. This is probably the deck that I use absolutely the most out of all of them, and it's the Lion's Gateway. She burned the designs into wood and then painted them. You can kind of see the wood grain. It's just regular RWS. The cardstock is phenomenal. The gilding is cool. The backs are cool. She just had a Kickstarter campaign for the 2nd edition, which I believe was funded, so you can get it now, I believe. The artist is Jessica Lee Henry, and it's the Lion's Gateway Tarot. The mass market version of the Circo Tarot, which I would love to have, because it's a little different from this, but it's cool. You could get it at Urban Outfitters. I don't know if it's still in production, but I would bet you could still find it pretty easily. The Ethereal Visions, because everyone should have it. I have these 2 Ellen Lorenzi Prince decks, the Dark Goddess and Terror of the Crone. I heard that Schiffer picked these up. I know Schiffer is publishing their, you can buy her 3rd deck, the, I forget the name of it. But anyway, you can buy her 3rd deck now from them. This deck I wanted for an absolute lifetime, and then there was a just like ridiculous way that all of this, that this deck went down. But basically, am I upside down? No. Basically the deck came out, there was a pre-order for it, but she didn't put a cap on the pre-orders, so people bought the deck and then were not able to get it because she didn't have enough to back it. I will say the only thing about the deck that kind of bugged me is that I had to essentially trim the tops or the bottoms depending on like how close the lettering was to the bottom or the top, in order to make it like shuffle easier. It's not an issue on the sides, but they were like different lengths. I don't know, I guess it had to do with how they cut it. But anyway, it's a beautiful deck. I'm very glad that I have it. Yeah. Next I have Serpent Fire. This is the last edition before she took the borders off. So it still has like the crazy, or maybe it's the only edition with the border. I don't know. Shit. I also have Spirit Speak. This is the reverse though. You can still get the other version of this. This was a limited edition one. So on the other one, it's literally reversed. So it's white flowers on a black background, and then black lines on white. But it's a cool deck. Tiny, little bitty. I mean, that's pretty little. And the box is nice inside. So that's cool. Same creator. This is probably the deck that I use second the most. It's also by, it's the exact same artist, but you can find her, if you just Google Spirit Speak, you'll get to her Etsy shop. This deck is gilded. The backs are cool. And then the images are just like so fun. I just really love it. I don't know, something about it just really speaks to me. I think I'm just gonna cut some of this out. Okay, I have the Star Child. This is the bigger version. I actually also had the smaller version, but it didn't have a book, a guidebook, and I gave it to my best friend, and honestly, she would use the guidebook, and I know I wouldn't. This, oh, upside down, the Sluttis Tarot. This is the Kickstarter edition. So it's a little different. The new one has borders, I believe. This, surprisingly, I'm normally, you know, love a border. This doesn't bother me. All of the cards are just framed in this white. I really like the way that it's designed. It's cool. Really fun. And I believe that I think the backs are the same. Okay, and then this is the Playful Heart Tarot. I'm not going to go through this. This was a pretty recent Kickstarter. This is the Star Power Tarot. Very weird deck. Like, that's the backs. It's silver gilded, but it's like, it almost looks textured. Like, I don't know how to even describe it, and it's hard to pick it up on camera. But this deck is very weird. Like, I don't really know, like, what to even really do with it. So, it was a Kickstarter. She also has a deck called a Moon Power Tarot, which I love more than this. But when this went on Kickstarter, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I saw some of the pictures. It did look cool, so I got it. And I like it, but it's just like, I'll never read with it, but it's cool. This is the Joe Sparrow. It's really big, but it's cool. This is the Solar Occulto Tarot. This is the second edition. The first edition I have in my car. There were some issues with the quality of the first deck. Originally, the creator tried to post something on her Instagram about how it was meant to be like that, the gilding, the original one was gilded on the edges. She was saying that it was like meant to be that way, like flaky, to like give it an aged look, but it was not great. But she quickly picked up on it, and I messaged her and was like, hey, so the deck was really expensive and I'm a little disappointed in the quality. Like, would you be willing to discount a second edition for me? And she was like, oh no, we're sending out brand new decks to everyone that ordered them. So like 2 days later, I got that in the mail. Tarot de Saint Croix, I really like a lot. I normally hate oranges and reds, but I really like this deck. Love the backs. Just a really pretty. There's lots of like blues and cool colors to kind of balance it out. Very RWS, so it works for me. I like it a lot. This is my Tabula Mundi, which is like one of the most well presented, like packaging, the whole thing. One of the best I've seen. That's the color edition. I'm pretty sure you can still get it. I'm not 1000% sure, but I'm almost positive you can. And then I have the Wheel of Change, which I like a lot. This one I know you can still get. The only thing I will say about this that I don't like is that the borders are all different. Womp womp. I don't like it. But other than that, the deck is really cool, really earthy. The pictures are really like clear and crisp, but like soft at the same time. Really pretty deck. And there's a massive book. And don't be fooled, because several listings I inquired about first were just the book and not the deck. Alright, so I have the Oddity Tarot. This is my other Majors Only. But the artist is really cool. He has put out a Oracle deck now. And it's, I mean, the way that I don't know how he developed it or like who he used to develop it, but he had a box made, he had a die made to go with it, he had a mat that like rolled up into the box, like all of it was so well presented. And then lastly, I have 2 Spolia Tarots because it is probably my favorite. It's one of my very favorite decks. I keep the little book right here because it has like main Chiati. It has extra cards, but I just keep them out because I don't really read with the extra cards. And it is a collage deck, but it is just the coolest. I mean, like, it just feels witchy. The quality of the production is unbelievable. Like, it's just a very well done collage. And it just, like, the minute I saw it, it was like, my soul was like, yep, you're gonna have to have that. So then I got it and loved it. And I was like, oh, if this ever goes out of print, I'm gonna be, like, pissed if something happens to it. So I got a second one. It's Future Brand. I realized that I moved the Rain Coast Tarot when I was filming earlier, and I never picked it back up. So I have that, and I also have, can you see it? The Modern Witch Tarot, too. But I keep it with my... God, forgive me, this is so shaky. I keep it with my RWS clones, so I think, yeah, that's it. You've seen all of my available, you can get them still, all of those decks. And those are all the decks that I read with regularly. I don't really read for other people, but if I did, I probably would use one of these. I do have other ones, like other I love my out of print, and I love my, but, you know, it's cool. Oh, looks like I'm about to have a visitor. Well, hope you enjoyed that last little, like, bit of the video. I didn't feel like setting up the tripod again, but I did want to say thank you for sticking around and watching it, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm sorry for this very shaky ending. It looks like there's an earthquake, but there's not. Alright, so thanks.